coming true and champions being crowned. Tonight, we're taking you on a journey where we'll meet some of the amazing people who surround some of our football fields in South Dakota. Welcome to Tales of the Gridiron.
This program is made possible with support from our members. Thank you. With help from
donors to the Explore South Dakota Fund. Support the production of local documentaries and other programs of local interest presented by SDPB. Friends of SDPB appreciates their support of this program.
and by First Dakota is here for the shared community experiences, the competition, long-standing rivalries, the players, the coaches, the officials, and concession crew, seeing friends again and cheering on our favorite teams. It's what makes life here great, and First Dakota is here for it.
Plenty of football programs in South Dakota have a strong tradition. This is especially true in winter. For years, the Warriors football teams have been a pinnacle of greatness. And a lot of that is because of the principles and values set forth by longtime coach Harvey Naas.
Yeah, it's still his field. He will get after Coach Gardner about the watering schedule. Game week against Tri-Valley a couple weeks ago, he mowed it 3 times in 1 week.
See, I'm an old farm boy. Haying was my favorite job, so long as the rattlesnakes stayed away. People know that they probably shouldn't come on the field.
Except South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Right, yes. Yeah.
Even in 2023, the name Harvey Naas needs little introduction in South Dakota. Years ago, he began a tradition. Today, that tradition remains. Harvey is still part of the team as well, but in a different way.
The janitors won't like this, but nobody else can do it right. No, I just enjoy it, and that way I still have a key to the watering place. Depending on the weather and the moisture, sometimes every other day, sometimes twice. Finish it, oh, we gotta drop it down some more and go again.
Over the years, the last few years, my brothers have said that, maybe Dad doesn't need to mow the lawn or the football field anymore, somebody else can do it. And I said, no, he's gonna keep mowing until he doesn't want to. If he would take his last breath on this field, what could be better,
Harvey coached football for 24 years with stops in Gettysburg, Custer, and Gregory. But winter is where he spent a majority of his time. As Warriors head coach, he won 3 state titles and was runner-up once as well.
That's the goal of all of our coaches and players. Again, we may not win it all, but we're going to be in every ball game. And when the game's over, you're going to know you were in the ball game. And we always tell them, work hard. That scoreboard take care of itself.
Our athletes, the last half of the year, have really turned it around. I mean, this just shows you what mental toughness can do. We maybe been short on some ability, but I guarantee you, our heart was there, and the mental toughness was there, the second effort was there, and that's all she took.
Harvey's son Brian would follow in his father's footsteps.
The one thing that's understood in winter is you have to work at it. X's and O's comes down to execution. You could go double tight power I and go 46 power all night. You could go double wing. Heaven forbid winter would ever go empty backfield and spread you out every play. And if that's what it took to win the game, then you would do it. But I didn't feel any intimidation, any extra pressure at all.
Fast forward to today, and a 3rd generation of the Naas family has joined the winter coaching journey.
My wife and I both grew up in Winter, went to school here, graduated here, and we always knew that eventually we were going to come back. It was never a matter of if, it was always a matter of when. And one day we just were kind of talking about it. We're like, it's probably time that we go back. And yeah, so being back here with both sets of grandparents for our daughter, helping out with my wife's family's ranch, and yeah, getting to coach the Winter Warriors.
Nathan Noss was a player for Winter during one of the most dramatic finishes in state football history.
It's still cool to think about, and every now and then you just have to go watch it, go back and watch the video just because.
The quarterback, he'll go under center. No doubt he's going to roll right side. The throw, he'll throw it as far as he can. Horseman, tip, in the air. Touchdown! The Winter Warriors! Jade Nudell! Touchdown, Winter Warriors!
I think that was probably the first and only time all year that we were in trips to one side, and yeah, it was just surreal. The tip, and then Jaden Odell, who lives back in the area, so I get to see him every now and again and bring it up with him, and yeah, catches it and goes in, and then it just was mayhem. The doggy pile in the end zone, and it was just, yeah.
Nathan isn't just part of a coaching legacy, he's part of a teaching legacy as well.
When we first decided to move down here, I was still waiting on interviewing down here for a teaching job, and yeah, the thought of, okay, I can be the third one, and it was always, the dream growing up was always to get to coach the Winter Warriors, and so it's, yeah, like living a dream right now of getting to be that guy that is the third generation coach, and knowing Dad and Grandpa are up on the hill, and it's kind of been surreal the way everything's fallen into place. The third generation football coach, and now third generation in Winter High School, room 203.
The Noss family has definitely left its roots in Winter. And while it's fun to look at where the family coaching tree is today, it's fun to look back and remember where its traditions began.
If two people compete, you always want to be number one. Anybody can be number two. Being around the athletes, that's the most fun. Yeah, again, like I keep saying, it keeps me young.
Jason Lieber played the most football games of anybody in this building. From his days in Vermillion playing for the state champion Tanagers to his career in college with the University of South Dakota. He was also a three-time recipient of the Joe Robbie MVP Award. Another three-time Joe Robbie winner was Lincoln Kienholz of Pierre, who is now a Buckeye at The Ohio State University. The Governors are another program that display dominance, discipline, and excellence at a consistent pace. This year's Pierre team has a kicking duo that is making some history of their own.
Meet Ryan Berry and Brianna Sargent, both seniors for the Pierre Governors girls soccer team. And while each is athletic and skilled in their own way, together they make a dominating pair.
We're more like sisters than friends, so we fight like sisters. So, I mean, like, we get through it, and like, it honestly makes us stronger, and like, it makes our relationship stronger, and like, there's nobody else I'd rather have on the field with me than her.
Yeah, we can get to bickering sometimes, but we usually get past it we don't really hold any grudges or anything, so we get past it pretty quickly.
They've grown up together and been friends for a long time.
Since first grade, I think.
Probably, since we were like, 7 years old.
So first grade.
Yeah, so like 10 years.
This year, the duo tried something different. They went outside of the comfort zone of their shin guards and fell into shoulder pads by being kickers for the Governors football team.
Kicking a soccer ball and kicking a football are actually pretty similar. Like, if you want the ball to go high, you got to get underneath it, and like, if your hips are too wide facing one way, then it's going to go like a shank sideways. Like, So it wasn't really too difficult, I don't think, just getting our steps down, and probably timing was probably the most difficult part.
One handles the kickoffs,
Ooh, windows. You want the last one, or do you want me to take it?
while the other handles the extra points.
We both took reps in practice of each, and then on the day of our first game, Steele told us that I would be kicking PATs and she would be kicking kickoff, and we think it's gone pretty smoothly since, so we haven't changed it.
Bria had kicked one just kind of sporadically, randomly in the middle of the season, and it showed me a picture actually in one of her study halls of just like, hey, watch, I can do this. And then, Ryan in the summer had come over and said, hey, can I come and try? And I think everyone kind of understands that, we don't really care who's kicking as long as they're the best ones for it. And, so we don't turn away anyone that wants to try. And, they both came out and throughout the course of summer and then, obviously into the season, they both showed that they were good enough to do it.
Back in 2018, Mackenzie Rath kicked for the Pierre football team as well.
All right, here's Mac Rath. He's had a
Not only did her presence make headlines, but she also made history by being the first female in state football history to score points in a state championship game.
It's good.
We've kind of talked about it throughout high school, thinking it was a pretty cool idea because Mac Rath, who also used to play soccer, she was a kicker on the football team, and since we were young, we liked that idea of being on the football team. And this summer at strength and conditioning, we kind of talked to Steele about the idea, and he had us come down and try it.
She has said that she wants to hopefully this will encourage more girls to come out for football.
Brianna and Ryan are now creating their own path for Pierre. And while there's a big difference between the strategy and rules of soccer and football, being competitors and strong members of a team is a consistent aspect between the two.
They were kind of doubtful of it at first. They were just making jokes and stuff. But then when we proved ourselves, they were open to the idea. And now, Matthew Coverdale told me that he's happy to have me on the team, and that meant a lot to me.
We didn't just expect to have their respect right away. We knew we were going to have to earn it, and I think that they all know that we've earned it by now, and they show us respect just as we would show them respect, which is really nice.
Come on, Barry!
They just want to come in and work and obviously win. That's the fun part about this is, I think everybody's pretty easygoing on it because they know that at the end of the day, the goal of everybody's the same. That we want to be here to be a team and win football games, and I think that they see the benefit of that they can add to the team, and the team sees the benefit that they can add to the team, and because of that it works because they know that there's not any other reason for them being out here.
At the end of the day, the girls are thankful to have each other to share the experience with.
Honestly, on the sidelines, when we're stressing, we have each other and we know how to calm each other down and stuff, and it's the same way with soccer, we just know each other because we've been best friends since we were little, so it helps having her on the sideline with me and in the game.
And since we've been playing together for so long, basketball, soccer, and now football, it's just it's kind of almost how it should be. It would be weird to not have her on the sidelines. I couldn't even imagine it.
Down, set, hut!
Woo!
Chest bump! Powder puff quarterback, I could get a rep in the game.
In Douglas, can I run wide receiver?
For those who have ever been a part of a team, it can feel very much like a family at times. In Mission, South Dakota, Todd County's football team quite literally has that connection from its coaching staff to its players.
In All Nations, it was when it first started out, we didn't know how it would go. I think it's the concept has worked well. The goal was to get more kids to play. We're just fortunate that we were able to get into it at a time where our numbers went all the way down to 14 players at one point. And so it was necessary for us to make that move and join the All Nations Conference as well. Currently, we're up to 44. So again, you see that big jump from 14 3 years ago, all the way up to 44 now.
For more than 3 decades, Bob Cornally has been involved with coaching football at Todd County in Mission.
Hey guys, be ready over here, okay? Now if we need somebody, guys, we'll be on the scout team, be ready. Be ready
about coming on the defense?
Probably playing got me into coaching. I was fortunate as a football player to start as a freshman in high school and play all 4 years, and I was fortunate again to, I don't know if this ever happens anymore, start as a freshman in college and play all through those years as well. So that was one thing. Had some success with it, and had a lot of good mentors. I had a lot of good coaches that were in high school. My high school coach was somebody I really looked up to. My high school coaches and my college coaches as well, I really looked up to them. Enjoyed what they did, enjoyed being around them. The other thing is my dad was a coach. My dad was a coach. He was an elementary coach, and he was somebody I obviously looked up to, and another reason why I went into coaching.
Bob's story, however, is different than most. He has 2 sons on the team, Jacob, who is currently a sophomore for the Falcons, and Ryan, who was a player, but is now an assistant coach on the squad.
It's definitely a reason I'm glad I did keep coaching all these years. It's something that just kind of happened, and I could see it coming a little bit possibly. I knew my youngest son Jacob was going to be a player at our high school, so that was something I wanted to stick around. And it just happened that Ryan, after he got done in college, he decided to move home, and it just happened that we had an opening. And
hey, man, if they cross like that, let them know.
Unique I'd say, but it's a blast, just like he talked about. A lot of guys don't get this opportunity, and being a player and a coach, both with him, and it's been pretty awesome. Learned everything I know about football from him, and he's the reason why I love the game.
If he wants to go that way, let him go and keep him on the sideline, okay?
Well, when we get on the field, he just be a coach, basically. So he's not really a dad on the field, but he's coaching me, pushing me hard. He makes me be a player instead of a son, so it brings more fun into the game instead of being a son out there.
Since you have a dad who's a coach or a brother who's a coach, does that involve more conditioning in the off-season?
Sometimes. Every time I go off to the sideline, he's the first person I go to for advice and for jokes and all that. So, and then as the coach, he pushes me, like I said, from my dad.
In 2022, Todd County advanced to the All-Nation State Championship game. They turned in their best overall performance of the season to claim the title.
I don't know if we thought, that would be the result when we first started the season. And we went along that way. We, our goal every week is just to go 1-0 every week. And we talk about the next opponent. After the game was over, I just enjoyed looking around at all the people and seeing the smiles on their faces, and the fact that they enjoyed it as well.
Joyful, I was happy for my dad, his first championship, and my brother's first championship. But for me, it was my first championship, but I didn't get that much playing time, but I was happy for the players, the seniors and all that.
I would just say I'm thankful to have both these guys on my team. Like I said, I've said it multiple times, but it's special, and I look forward to it every single day. And when football's not happening, I do coach other sports, but it's definitely not the same because I don't have the family here with me. So I love it. It's fun.
Every town in South Dakota probably has a diehard fan when it comes to high school sports. In Beersford, this is especially true. Our final story of the night focuses on a gentleman who's been attending Watchdog games for so long that the mascot is literally named after him. Roger Krause is a true gem in South Dakota. Let's take a look into Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
This is Beersford. This is their homecoming parade. And this is Roger.
Welcome to tonight's high school football contest, featuring the visitors on the school.
Watchdog Athletics and Roger Krause, #1 fan.
He is the #1 watchdog.
He's been a staple for years and years and years. If we don't have Roger, then we are concerned.
Mr. Roger Krause has always been Beersford's #1 fan. This year, he was crowned homecoming king of his nursing home.
So he got his hair cut right before they had coronation out of Bethesda. And I asked him, I go, well, what if you get king? And he said, I will be so happy, but I'll be happy with whoever gets it. So my heart was happy when he got it.
Did you have candy to throw out?
Yeah, they brought candy.
How come you didn't throw one to me?
Aha. It wasn't up to me.
They were in your hand.
Yeah.
I grew up in Beersford. He has come to everything since I was a little kid.
He was at every baseball game running the score clock. If Roger's not there, people are asking, where's he at or what's he doing? And it's typically if he's only not feeling well that he's not there.
They always see to it that I get the best seat in the house.
Close to the action and close to the concession stand, right, Raj?
Right.
Yep.
Roger's always in the front. He's always standing up and cheering, always clapping and screaming when something good happens.
He embodies what you want people to be in a fan. He's passionate, he's caring, he wants the best for the kids, he loves sportsmanship, and I get the opportunity to pick him up and take him home.
Now he has Uber drivers
Roger Express.
that pick him up and take him.
Principals, teachers, fans, everyone pitches in to make sure Roger is at that game.
Even the kids do, don't they,
Yeah,
Raj?
once in a while the kids will pick me up.
But it's mostly Roger's cousin Esther, who's been watching him since they were playing around on the family farm.
To his dentist and to his haircuts, and sometimes he rides the bus. Life is pretty good, isn't it, Raj?
Yeah. It's all fun for me. Fun to to see all my friends play basketball and that, and football and baseball, especially the seniors.
Beersford embraces Roger, but Roger really embraces Beersford too. They've known him for so many years. Ever since he was really little, he was always super special. And if any other kids were picking on Roger, there were always people there to protect him. And definitely Roger's been there to protect kids. He's always loved little kids. Roger's been a kind of a mascot to the whole town.
And, well, he kinda is the mascot.
Welcome to tonight's high school football contest.
Yeah, he's made such an impact on Beersford that we even named our mascot after him, so.
Yes. He is known not only in our town, but by surrounding communities as well. He's just that much a part of our sports programs.
Beersford's mascot and poet.
Roger is famous for poems, and anytime we had a pep rally or a team was getting sent off or something, guaranteed on the agenda is a Roger Krause letter or poem.
And I tell them, like, I can't be with you at the softball game, but I will be thinking of you and praying for you as you play.
The experience to hear like the words that he can put and like how the environment just changes around you because of like the things that he has to say and the impact that it holds on everyone's heart in the room.
To every graduating senior, this faithful message from Roger.
Life is a highway on which the years go by. Sometimes the road is level, sometimes the hills are high. But as you travel onward to the future unknown, may you take Christ with your travel and make him his heavenly stepping stone.
Kids that I run into that I taught in school that have been away for a while, throughout the conversation they'll always say, is Raj still coming to the games? How's he doing? It always comes up.
They always remember you, Raj.
That means a lot to me to know that I got a lot of friends.
High school football is more than just a sport in South Dakota. It brings our communities together. It teaches life lessons. And most importantly, it's a place where our kids get to have fun as a team. So when it comes to football where we're from, just remember, every strong tradition started somewhere. It's never too late to carve out your own history. love your family, and remember to cheer loud the next time you're at a game. We want to thank you for joining us tonight for Tales of the Gridiron. I'm Craig Madden. Good night.
And you know the kid believed him. If he ever learns how to do it.
I love it. It's fun.
Treat yourself to a dazzling dance show. Based on the songs of Sting and choreographed by the brilliant Kate Prince, look for this remarkable message in a bottle on Great Performances.
Friday at 8, 7 Mountain on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
Why freeze a body to then dump it in the sea? You think she killed him? There's a lot of sneaking about. This is my future at stake.
We're gonna have to trust her at some point. Annika on Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday at 9, 8 Mountain on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Sometimes in life you have those moments in all its glory.
With singing, dancing, magicians. Yeah!
Just what I wanted for Christmas. We have much to be grateful for.
The platypus have been granted this window into their world.
Can you tell me the truth?
What do you remember?
This title, Chaplain.
People come to us with the things that normally burden their soul.
Remember, you were trying to become the first female Muslim chaplain.
It's in my DNA to help you.
Monday at 9, 8 Mountain on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Catch all the action of the 2023 South Dakota High School State Football Championships, November 9th through the 11th, live on SDPB. For a full schedule and how to stream, go to sdpb.org/football. The 2023 South Dakota High School State Football Championships, November 9th through the 11th. Brought to you in part by Dakota Bank and SD Corn.
People put their faith in PBS because they know that it is constantly delivering quality. It covers the whole of the United States. It's a free and independent media.
We go where the viewers are.
What are the conversations that are happening right now?
We feel that civil discourse is a civic responsibility.
What we do is authentic reporting that people can trust.